The urgent plea echoed through the phone line. "Perform CPR.
Save your sister!"
But 13-year-old Paris Bennett refused. 4-year-old Ella lay unresponsive, her life slipping away, yet her older brother stood firm, his voice betraying no panic, only a chilling reluctance. The 911 operator, desperate, pressed him further. What dark secret could compel a child to deny life, saving aid to his own sibling? The truth, hidden beneath layers of normalcy, would unravel a family, expose a legacy of trauma, and reveal a darkness few could ever comprehend. Just hours before that fateful call on February 4, 2007, Ella had been a vibrant, happy child, inseparable from her older brother, Paris. Their single mother, Charity Bennett, had poured every ounce of her being into creating a stable home for them in Abilene, Texas. Paris, a gifted and highly intelligent boy with an IQ of 141, was his sister's protector, often watching over her as she slept, a silent guardian. Ella adored him, trusting him implicitly, looking up to her big brother with all her heart. They were, by all accounts, the perfect siblings in a loving, if unconventional, family. Charity, at just 26 years old, had already navigated a life marked by profound challenges. Born in 1973, her own childhood was shattered by tragedy. When she was 6, her father, James, a successful trucking magnate, was found dead with 3 gunshot wounds. Suspicion immediately fell on Charity's mother, Kyla, who had just remarried James days before his death, placing her back in his will and granting her control of his vast fortune. Kyla was tried for murder, but acquitted, leaving Charity to grow up under the shadow of unspoken accusations. The whispers, the taunts from classmates, "I hear your mommy killed your daddy," became a constant, haunting presence. Neglected by her mother, who spiraled into a reckless lifestyle, Charity battled her own demons, falling into drug addiction in her late teens. But at 18, she fought back, got clean, earned a degree in psychology, and found new purpose in motherhood. Paris was born in 1993, followed by Ella in 2002. Charity believed she had finally broken the cycle of trauma, building a beautiful life for her children. Paris embraced his role as an older brother with quiet devotion. He'd pick out Ella's clothes, entertain her with impromptu news reports from her ball pit, and shield her from the world. Ella, lively and spunky, brightened every room, a stark contrast to Paris's introverted nature. Their bond was undeniable, a testament to Charity's unwavering love and effort. But history, it seemed, was a relentless shadow. On Super Bowl Sunday, February 4, 2007, Charity worked a double shift at a local sports bar to make ends meet, leaving Paris, now 13, and Ella, 4, with a babysitter. Around 10:30 p.m., just as the evening was winding down, Paris convinced the babysitter to leave early, falsely claiming their mother was coming home sooner. Soon the 2 children were alone in the house. At 11:42 p.m., the 911 call came in. Paris, seemingly distraught, reported that Ella was unresponsive. The operator, sensing the urgency, guided him through CPR instructions. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, Paris counted, his voice faltering, giving the impression he was following her directions. Police and paramedics raced to the scene. Meanwhile, at the sports bar, 2 officers entered, asking for Charity. Her heart hammered as they delivered the devastating news her daughter had been hurt. Escorted home, Charity's mind raced, battling to suppress the worst images. But as they pulled up to her street, the flashing lights, the caution tape, the crowd of officers and news vans illuminated the night, confirming her deepest fears. Ella is dead. The words shattered her world. She watched in horror as her daughter's tiny body, zipped into a bag up to her chin, was carried out of their home, blood staining her mouth. Charity collapsed, screaming apologies for not being there. The echoes of her own childhood trauma resonated with chilling familiarity. This wasn't just loss, it was a horrifying echo of a past she had desperately tried to outrun. Through her grief, Charity managed to ask about Paris. He was at the police station, they said. A flicker of relief pierced her despair. At least her son was alive. But as she entered the interrogation room, the relief dissolved. Paris stood at the far end, his face devoid of emotion. As Charity rushed to embrace him, sobbing, she realized he wasn't hugging her back. A coldness, an unnerving stillness, emanated from him. Something was profoundly wrong. Detectives quickly began their investigation. The 911 operator's recording played a crucial role. Despite Paris's feigned efforts, Officers found Ella lying face down, with no signs of CPR ever having been performed. Paris had been lying the entire time. When confronted, the facade crumbled. Charity, reeling from the betrayal, looked at her son, her first love, and saw a stranger. "I don't believe you anymore," she told him. "I think you killed your sister on purpose." Paris's response was chilling. He looked at her and laughed. "Y'all are so farzing stupid." The boy she knew was gone, replaced by a cold, calculating presence. The small town of Abilene was in shock. Ella's horrific murder made no sense. The community, grappling with the tragedy, sought answers, and in their pain they turned on Charity. What kind of books did Paris read? What video games did he play? They asked, subtly blaming her for raising a monster. She bore the brunt of their accusations, labeled as the mother who had failed. Broken, Charity felt she had lost both her children, Ella to death, and Paris to a darkness she never imagined. Yet, despite the betrayal, Charity remained a mother. She needed to understand, not just for justice for Ella, but for the truth about her son. She sought professional help, and a psychopath checklist youth version was administered to Paris. The results were stark. Your son is a sociopath. The impending trial presented Charity with an impossible dilemma. How could she be a mother to Ella, seeking justice for her murder, while also being a mother to Paris, who was accused of taking her life? "If I tried to put Paris and Ella together in my brain," she later recounted, "I really got close to insanity." In the courtroom, she sat in the middle, refusing to choose sides, her heart torn between her two children. Ultimately, Charity made a profound decision. She would not abandon Paris, but neither would she shield him from accountability. She chose to love him in a new way, not by saving him from justice, but by ensuring he faced it and received the psychiatric help he desperately needed. "I was not trying to get Paris off," she affirmed. "I wanted to get Paris help." On August 15, 2007, Paris pleaded guilty to capital murder in juvenile court, receiving the maximum sentence 40 years. With Paris now facing decades in prison, Charity made him a promise. "I was always going to love him no matter what. And then I also promised him that I was always going to do the best job I could to be his mother." Charity Bennett had lived a life defined by tragedy, a cycle of loss and unanswered questions. But now she chose a different path, healing through truth. "I'm tired of the history repeating itself," she declared. "I have been able to forgive Paris for the worst thing imaginable, but I'm never going to be comfortable with it. In order to have my own sense of peace, to have integrity, it's time to stop the pattern." That night Ella died, Charity made a vow something meaningful would emerge from her daughter's death. She established the Ella Foundation, dedicated to preventing violence by sharing their story and advocating for children's mental illness rehabilitation. Through her voice, Charity ensures that Ella's memory continues to heal the wounds of tragedy that defined the Bennetts for generations. Her work offers a second chance to families who have lost hope, proving that even from the deepest despair, a legacy of healing can rise. It will never bring Ella back, Charity admits, but it does keep Ella alive. "I can't change Paris today, but maybe by doing this, I can help with changing somebody else's child."